What is up, everybody? In today's video, we are here visiting the family, playing with some fun toys, and today we're going to talk about how to properly approach a cutting phase. Let's get into it. This guy is having the absolute time of his life chasing me around on this quad. In today's video, what we're going to be talking about are the 5 main key important things that you need to do, and I believe anybody should be doing before they go into any sort of a fat loss phase. So tip number 1 is mindset. The main thing that you want to focus on when you go into a fat loss phase is not being willy-nilly with your diet or being on and off during the weekends or on or off at any point. I truly believe that when you go into a fat loss phase, you want to go in and get out as soon as you possibly can. And here's why, guys. It's important that when you go into a fat loss phase, you are trying to burn your body fat percentage and then also retain as much muscle as possible. And that's why it's so important to go into a fat loss phase with the mindset of thinking, okay, I am going to be dialed in for this set period of time. I'm going to have the discipline. Some days I might need to say no because I know that it's going to be meeting my goals instead. And sometimes meeting your goals is going to be more important, and it's going to feel better to stay disciplined and say no rather than going on a roller coaster ride in your diet. So that's tip number 1. Make sure that you set a time frame on when you're going to get started, become and get into the right mindset, and then we're gonna jump into tip number 2. But first, we need to rip on this for a little bit more. So next up, tip number 2 is going to be setting a SMART goal and a specific time frame, and I can't say enough how important both of these are. My specific goal here in the Summer Sizzle series is that I'm going to get to 8 to 10% body fat, and I'm going to do that by losing 1.5 pounds a week, so not too slow, not too fast, and I'm going to achieve that, if my math adds up correctly, in 75 to 90 days. And so what that's important for is it puts into your brain, you know when you're going to start, and as long as you stay disciplined, you know when you're going to finish. And so that's going to really build some discipline subconsciously for yourself, saying, I'm not going to have to do this forever, but I do need to put my head down and be disciplined during this specific time frame, and then I'll get to where I want to be. So next up, what we're going to be doing right here for today, got myself a bike hitch, or at least the receiver for my car. So my dad and I, we are going to install this on the car. We're going to be doing this because you guys know what time of year it is. Actually, in fact, there's not even any snow here downstate, Lower Peninsula, but biking season, guys, mountain biking season is shortly coming. And so we're going to be getting ready by putting the receiver on here. Going to get myself a hitch soon, and then for the channel, you guys are going to be seeing a bunch of mountain biking. Can't wait, guys. Ready to put this hitch on?
Yes.
We are in the midst right now of putting in the trailer receiver, or the hitch receiver, for my bike rack, but we need a different bolt for one of the pieces to complete the project. So we're gonna run right now to the store, pick that up, and right now we're gonna touch on tip number 3. And what that is determining your controllable variables, or our tools, while being in a fat loss variable. So what it all really boils down to is calories in versus calories out. In order to lose body weight or body fat, you have to be in a net caloric deficit, or meaning you have to be consuming less calories than what you burn. But there are a couple other tools that we can control, or our variables that we can control, and those are going to be your exercise, and that's both your workouts, strength training wise, and also your steps. So those are our controllable variables, or our tools. And then next up is our diet, so placing our body into a caloric deficit through being in a diet, our water intake, and our sleep. So we have 4 main controllable variables that we can naturally control. So how can we control our diet? We can control our diet by tracking every single day using a food scale and a tracking app, and then with time changing those calories and macronutrients. And then when it comes to exercise, we can control that by, say we need to burn more calories in a day, we can just increase our steps a little bit more, or maybe change up our workout split. And then when it comes to your water intake, I always keep that a constant. There's no need to consume more water or less water. You want to keep that constant. For me, I consume a gallon a day, or I think the standard should be at least half your body weight in ounces of water a day. And the only time you might need to change that is if you're in a prep where you have to really manipulate your water intake, and this is prep for like a show, but we're not really diving into that by any means right now. And then last up, the big controllable variable can be sleep. A lot of times if you're not getting enough sleep, you might reach a plateau when it comes to fat loss, so that's another tool that we can control and make sure that we're getting enough of. Ended up picking a little something else up at the store too. We are officially done. Bike hitch receiver is on. Soon, get a bike hitch on this bad boy, and it'll be biking season. All right, guys, bike hitch is on. Very excited about that. And now it's time for us to jump into tip number 4, and that is fully committing and stay disciplined along the way. So it's kind of similar to the mindset that we talked about in tip number 1, but now this is the actual act of doing. So now that you have all those tools set in place, you have that time frame and everything that you can manipulate along the way, now is up to you for that specific time frame to fully commit, stay disciplined. Sometimes you might have to say no, but remember that you're saying no because you're doing it for yourself and your goals. And a lot of times if you start getting lenient and you're not fully committing along the way, then you're going to end up dabbling back and forth, and it's just going to prolong that time of you reaching your goals. So something that really resonates with me, this is something that I heard, I can't remember who it is, but whenever I am committing to a goal, whether that be trying to learn something with YouTube here, or whether that try to be something like 75 hard or going into a caloric deficit, something that always comes up in my brain and I ask myself is, am I fully committed or am I just interested? And that always hits home for me. So are you fully committed or are you just interested in losing weight? Ask yourself that, and that's something that can put you in that right mindset to get into this caloric deficit, actually execute and follow through with what you say you're going to do. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering why my parents' yard is kind of a barren desert, it is because they tillered it up and they're going to be putting in some new grass come this next summer. So just in case anyone's wondering that. All right, and for dinner, Mamio made up some amazing Greek chicken gyros. On here we have the 2-ingredient bread. It's going to be non-fat Greek yogurt in the bread mixed in with flour. Next to that also we have some chicken meatballs on there that basically is mixed up with a whole bunch of stuff. Some non-fat feta cheese, some panko crumbs, ground chicken, got some spinach in there, grind that up, cook that up, some good seasonings in there. And then with the tzatziki sauce on here, it's also made with non-fat Greek yogurt once again, mixed in there with a whole array of spices, which I'm not actually sure what it is. What are they? Shout them out.
Garlic. Lemon juice. Can't do it.
She's a little camera shy. Garlic, lemon juice.
Oregano.
Cucumbers. And non-fat Greek yogurt. There you go, throw that on there. Top it on some spring mix, some red onions to the side, and you got yourself one heck of a dinner. And I'm gonna do a little taste test here because this is my first time having the 2-ingredient bread, which you can do so much with. You can make pizzas with, you can make bagels with, a lot of stuff with. You can make gyros with. Let's dig in. Wow. That's fluffy. That's so good. All right. I'm gonna put the camera away. All right, guys, so that meal was absolutely amazing. We're gonna end the night right here with tip number 5. The final tip is instilling the new habits that you have created during your fat loss phase and making sure that you maintain those too. So yes, when you get done with a fat loss phase or a cutting phase, it is okay to, of course, bump up your calories a little bit, but you really wanna make sure that you bump up your calories just by a little bit. Your maintenance is going to be shifted from where it was previously. Again, your body has been through a lot, so your new maintenance might be a little bit lower. It typically is. And so it's important that you increase your calories a little bit when you're ready to come out of a fat loss phase, but you don't really want to increase your calories by a ton right at first. So just slowly including some more calories in, and then also just really deciding what is your next goal. Do you want to just maintain your new results? If so, then slowly bumping up those calories and still keep it up with your cardio, your workout sessions that you were doing, or do you want to transition more into a bulking phase? Again, those are the things that you got to ask yourself. And if it's a bulking phase, of course, in the future, I will have a video on that too, on how to transition out of a cut and going into a bulk. I'll probably do that later on towards the end of the Summer Sizzle series, so stay tuned for that. Just gave me a nice little title idea. So we're gonna wrap up the video right here, Scout and myself, before we hit the hay for the night. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, I would greatly appreciate that. And if you guys missed the last video, check it out, it's gonna be right up here. But for now, I will see you guys in the next video.